man who I have with you today. Oh my God. As we're doing the second segment of Women's Month, okay? So we're doing a good second segment, and today we have none other than Altovise Lawrence, and she is an actress, a performer, a presenter, a voiceover artist, like a master of ceremony and other ceremonies.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for the invitation.
It's so awesome to have you. I'm so blessed to have you. So guys, if today I swallow my words and I forget some English words, please do pardon me, okay? I'm giving a disclaimer because she has been such a powerhouse. If you've followed her on different series and telenovelas and movies that she's done, she is an international star. You know, she has covered a safe bet. She has covered single guys. She's been on Scandal. She's been on Legacy. You know, she's been doing so great things, and we cannot take that out. And for those that don't watch anything, now for my adverts, commercials, you've seen her. She's been everywhere. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you once again. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. Thank you.
And today, if you're wondering what we're talking about, she is back on stage after 10 years of, working with James Ngcobo, doing a play called The Colored Museum. And, we're honored that it's her anniversary back on stage at the People's Theatre in Johannesburg, working again with James Ngcobo. How do you feel about that?
Ooh, I feel inclined to say it's a full circle moment, as cliche as it sounds. So let's say it is a full circle moment.
Yeah.
But now more than ever, I feel ready.
Yeah.
I feel ready. When I first did the Colored Museum in 2014, I just graduated from FITS, and this is your first production. And in my mind, I'm like, I should be the lead. I know you can do this. I could do this alone. And I'm just like, I am so thankful that my first production was with a group of amazing people, including a director who is an actor who knows how to treat young actors, old actors, actors who are in between. And to now do this 10 years later, I feel much more settled in my abilities, more trusting in what I'm able to do. And that doesn't mean that it is void of imposter syndrome, and void of doubt, because even when I got confirmed for the role, I'm like, I can't be me. I don't deserve this. I can't do this, Up until you just need to pull yourself towards yourself and say, but it's been 10 years in the making, excluding the years of study, and I deserve it. And it feels strange even saying that, but it feels good being here 10 years later with a director that I'm familiar with, but also sharing the stage with someone like Mothusi. And more importantly, I just feel very settled in my craft, and I think that is very reassuring where I am with my age, with my career, and whatever the future holds for me.
Oh yeah. Guys, you do know that we are on a podcast, things start falling apart, especially hearing her voice and where she is now. I think we like her maturity coming back and working, like she said, with a very strong director. I mean, James Ngcobo is doing amazing as a theatre maker myself. When we look up to her, I think I've quoted her several times. If you've seen that SABC interview, because I like how he does things as well, and I can see it on stage. You and Mothusi, I mean, your chemistry, it's so mind-boggling. It's like, what? How long have you been doing this? For 2 years? But I think it comes with the professionalism that you guys, have been, going through different areas of your careers.
Yes.
Yeah. And how does it feel to play this lady that I'm going to ask you about? Okay. So if you're wondering what we are talking about Oleanna. Oleanna is a play that is taking place here at the People's Theatre, like I said before. It is a play that was done by David Mamet, yes, and that was directed by James Ngcobo. And the two beautiful characters that are our casts that are in this play, it is the Honorable, obviously, Mothusi, Magano, and Altovise Lawrence as well. And they're doing this beautiful play that is provoking. It's mind provoking. The commentaries that are coming from the conversation that we are having in terms of talking about power, the abuse of power, and as well as, there is this blurred conversation that is happening between the two, that is the mentorship and a bit of manipulation. So it is a story about a professor and a student, and they are, talking about all things mentorship. And Altovise here, she's playing the character Carol. And how is that character? Because I'll tell you my thoughts after.
You want to tell me now?
Oh!
How is Carol?
Yeah.
When I first met her, compared to me playing her, I think it's an ever-evolving thing.
Yeah.
Just based on the idea that no one night of performance is alike. And also, depending how I walk into this room, it could affect my performance. How Mothusi walks in, it affects our performance. And also how I find myself, like, I'll get off stage and be like, I just discovered that my favorite color is blue, as an example. So it's not set in stone. I think that's what I like about theatre and when you create a particular character. But picking her up was, I think, easy in the beginning. Up until you have a director that asks you questions, because for people who haven't watched the show, for you who have, I thought she was innocent, and then I thought she was guilty, and then I thought what happens to her is deserved. And then I was like, oh my goodness, but we live in a country that's rife with femicide and the GBV statistics where men are also abused and men are also themselves victims. And I'm just like, what the hell is she actually? And am I doing the right thing on stage? So I think when I picked her up, you must start on a clean page. It is unfair as an actor to have a bias with the character that you're about to play, because now you're not playing the character honestly. You're playing her with your bias. So it's not Carol you see, it's Altovise you see. And I was very conscious to avoid that, to not create her based on Altovise, but let Carol speak for herself. But as it developed during rehearsal and stuff, it came with anger. It came with anger I was mad at her, but I'm also mad at John for making her this. And also the age that I'm at, I'm 33, and I'm just like, in my 33 years of living, how am I thinking? The woman I am at 33 is not the same woman I was at 16 and 21, and life experiences, and also living in South Africa, because this David Mamet is American, and it was set in America, written in 1992, if I'm not mistaken, and we've adapted it to a South African context. And because you've watched the show, look at what's happening in South Africa. Violence against women, violence against men rather, our sexual harassment statistics, the false accusations, the people who are convicted, and when you look across the board, when I looked at it through the lens of a South African woman, I think that's when things just started to shift. I don't have the experience of an American woman. I've got the experience of a South African woman, and the fact that it is set in South Africa, and we're playing it in the context of where the world is right now, that just became heavy and sad, because what are we going to do about it? And I hate feeling helpless. So I think that's where it is right now.
And I think for me, when I looked at Carol and John, I left here, I'm just going to tell you about how I felt. I left here, I was like, at some point, I felt scared for my son. Because now I have a boy child. And I was like, do I last have to ask my child to have a recording thing on their pocket, a consent form everywhere they are? At the same time, I'm like, but I'm a woman that is fighting this, I also want to fight for women that have been abused, or, I'm standing for that GBV, I'm standing for that. But am I ready to receive this play? And are other people also ready to receive it? Is South Africa ready to receive this play?
I think since as long as time probably existed, abuse has existed. And to ask if a country is ready, we're in the middle of it in our lives. And if you go a generation back, what happened to our moms and dads, our aunts, if it's been alive, how it's probably being handled, and the consequences to particular actions, there might be the conversation that we need to look at. And I think in playing Carol, all I was also thinking about is, if there are men in the audience, what do they think I want to know what men think. We don't have the lived experience of men. I can't be a man. I can't think as a man.
Yeah.
All I know is being this woman that I am and playing this role. And it's what you just said now. You put yourself in your son's shoes and thought, my goodness, if this person starts going out or being in a relationship, does he record interactions just to make sure that just in case someone says I did something that I didn't do, that there's proof.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the way to live. We can't live like that. It shouldn't be normalized. But if people are going to be malicious and use something like rape or a form of sexual harassment or assault as a weapon, that's wrong.
Yeah.
And that, I think, needs to be regulated just as much as the people who are perpetrators. Yeah. So I think for me, that's where I am just like, again, feeling helpless as a woman, and also thinking about what men feel. And if I have a son one day or a daughter one day, either way, this particular conversation will need to happen.
Sure. I think, we're talking about, certain things that needs to be regulated in South Africa as well. Is we haven't, I know there's still talks, there's still, the constitution that is still being fixed for women in terms of protecting the men as well, for those women that are using rape as sort of like as a weapon, but we're not here yet, and we're not there yet with the whole thing. And myself and my friend, we were arguing about this whole thing because he's a guy, but I was on the other side because I was standing in for my son. Like I said, I was like, no, my son, And you would say, I think maybe it's too early for us to talk about these conversations because there's not enough, or how can I say? I don't want to say enough. Yeah, but that is not for GBV in South Africa. There is some that is there's a lot of work that is happening behind, but it's not consistent. I can put it in that way.
Yes.
We always talk about GBV towards the 16 days of activism. We always talk about GBV when it's Mother's Day. We talk about GBV when it's Women's Month, And the plays that we've seen about women abuse, we've also tired seeing them over and over again. And like, are we getting bored of hearing that message? Or is there more that we need to do? So that when we see a play such as Oleanna, and we ask ourselves those questions, we are able to boldly stand and say, we need to fight for both. But this is how we can fight for this one, and this is how we can stand for this one. What's your take on that? Are we doing enough?
We can never be bored. We should never be bored. It's the same as saying, hey, will you ever get tired of fighting for your country? We must never, ever get tired of fighting for South Africa. We can never, ever get tired of fighting for justice and being not in favor of violence.
Yeah.
And I think the first thing that we need to do, GBV is not girl-based violence. It's not girl, it's gender-based violence. You can be a man or woman or whatever you identify as. You can be whatever you identify as, but if there's violence against you or being done to you, you fall under the umbrella of GBV. So I think that's the first thing that we just need to sort out, because more often than not, we believe her. And not that her is wrong, but I'm like, maybe that's more of the stories we hear. Because when I think about, I'm not in a police station. Do men go and report when their partners have been violent towards them? Compared to the women that have reported violence done against them, and maybe even in the statistics, are they real? Not real, they are real, but are they, help me, they're authentic, true to numbers?
Oh,
struggling with that. Yeah, so if they say 1 in every 4 men, maybe it is, for example, 3 in every 5 men, but only 1 in every 4 men reports. So I'm just are the statistics accurate? Sorry.
No worries.
I think about things like that. It's first removing what we think GBV is. It's if your partner or if someone of the opposite sex or the same sex harms you, that's GBV. Yeah. Statistics, how many men are reporting being ill-treated or violated by their partners? How many women are doing it? How many of those cases get taken to court? When it gets to court, how many times do those people end up behind bars? So it's so systematic that we can't get tired, because if we do get tired, when will real change happen? And I'm we see it with, and she must just continue resting in peace, Oleanna. I'm like, many women before her were killed. Women after her were killed. But it took Oleanna's death that sparked the black dukes, the this, and people taking to the streets. And I feel like that's the type of energy that should never ever die out. But also it doesn't help that violence has been done to you. And when you go to a police station, that man himself is violent to his wife.
Oh.
So he doesn't see anything wrong. Because how many times have we heard people reporting to the police station and say, what's the problem? I can just go back and sort it.
Yeah.
That's not for him to decide. This is not a simple case. I'm telling you, I want to report a case, or I want to open a case, and I need the policeman to be a policeman and not a mediator or my psychiatrist or my therapist. I need you to be a police officer or an officer of the law. So I just think this feels so almost bigger than us. Because we can't put a plastic here. I need to fight the police. I also need to fight the law. I need to fight my partner. I need to fight my family that says Begezela. I need to. So I think that's why it feels like we're wearing thin, because we need to address more than one thing or one person, one entity or one system. It's not just a single thing, because then I think we would have conquered it. Whatever conquering it looks like.
We've yet to see it. We've yet to see it. And I think with the play, because it's got this subtle, underneath thing, conversation or commentary, or where you're almost unsure who started it first. Was it the professor that is, this guy that is self-imposed to a student, or was it a student imposing himself to the professor? So it gives you that, where does it start? Is it really that the professor is innocent, and is Carol maybe being abused in a home, or had a previous experience of abuse, and here is this man, and everything that he says might be a trigger, and little things whereby, where do you draw the line? Because we see Carol leaning on the professor at some point. We see Carol say, are you sure you need to go home? And the gestures of Carol, like, are you coming to the professor? What is the professor? So there is this thing that lies underneath. And just to go back to what you said in terms of the police station, with that subtle feeling.
The subtext.
It's the same thing for married women. Is they're unsure as to where is the abuse lying here. And I think Oleanna is bringing that type of questions even far back to, where is the abuse? Even when I'm married, have I received these gestures? Or have I received this subtle, thing? So with that said, where do we more or less draw the line of what is and what isn't abuse?
I think we all have a different line. My tolerance is not your tolerance. Your limit is not my limit. It differs. I think also limits are taught, limits are experienced. It's like if you subscribe to a particular tradition or a culture that teaches women in a certain way, that teaches men a certain way, that's what you carry on and what you practice up until you probably have the capacity to unlearn and relearn what is right. It's how I believe I leave when you raise your voice at me. There's no way. If both of us are not screaming, okay, not that that's healthy either. But let's say there's an argument between my partner and I, we're both on the same audible level. But if I'm talking and you're screaming at me, and I let it pass, what happens next? And next, and next, and next, and that's my line. My line is if a partner just speaks in a way where this is not even you're raising your voice, you're screaming at me. I'm done with you, because I feel like I'm opening the door to something else. The same way how I would like my partner to feel like this is my line. If you swear at me when arguing, I'm done with you. So that's my line. I don't know if that line is below par, but there's no way that I've never been in a physical relationship. A physically abusive relationship, rather, because of my line. And when it comes back to Oleanna, the tagline for this piece is, for the play rather, is whichever side you choose, you're wrong. That's how the play was written. Whichever side you choose, you're wrong. The questions you were just asking me, maybe you're right, but maybe you're wrong. If you think it's John, maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. Was when I played that answers, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. We don't know. And I think even in the way that the play ends, was he right or was he wrong? And whichever side you choose, you're wrong.
Guys.
And you need something open-ended like that. Sorry to speak.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you make up your own conclusion. And I think that says more about you than it says about David Mamet.
Oh, and that's so true. You know, you guys, you have to watch the show for you to understand what we're talking about, because I was about to get there, like, the final piece is the one that actually puts men in bars, you know, behind bars, if I can put it like that. Because it's a series of things that are happening, and they end up choosing to go that way.
Yeah.
We're not going to give it to you. You have to come and watch the show so that you know what's happening. You
Yes.
know? But that part, a lot of men get to jail because of that, is because there were so many things that were happening before. You know? A lot of things that are in between that nobody was vocal about, either the professor or Carol, you know? And you saw that close up. Do you think that women are vocal enough in terms of small abuses? I don't know how we can put it like that. Like small things, or things that we may perceive small. Like, you know, when you say that someone when they raise their voice on you,
For me, it's a red flag. Yeah.
do you get me?
Yeah.
And for someone else, like, man,
Yeah.
really, you know? Do you think that women are also not vocal enough to talk about those small things?
I feel like this is a tricky question, and I'm probably going to struggle to answer it because, again, what's your boundary and what's your limit? When a woman stays, and it's like, oh, she should have gone, maybe she didn't even realize she's being abused. What is your understanding of abuse? When do you think abuse starts? In what form? Do you know what I'm trying to say? So I'm like, I think it's a bit tough. It's a bit tough to answer that because of. It's a bit tough to answer that because I feel very inclined to say that we've seen relationships also where when a woman's like, if you don't do this for me, then I won't do this for you. She not being abusive to the man. And I don't want to sit here and like, oh, you're not for a woman or you're not for all women. It's very hard to have that particular conversation because I'm a person first and then I'm a woman in a relationship. So when we talk about how it's right that John did that to Carol, I saw it as a human being that was provoked by another human being, but he just happened to be a man, if that even makes sense. So if me as a woman, I'm pushing you, I'm slapping you, I'm punching you, my punch is probably 10 kilograms. That human being is going to push me back, but his push is 50 kilograms.
Yeah.
Now because I fell on the floor, he's the wrong one. Why am I not wrong for also pushing, for also beating? And I think that's what makes it so tough because now it sounds like I'm siding with men, as opposed to these are two human beings in a relationship. And he can't just suddenly become the man because he pushed too hard. That might not even be hard. You know what I'm trying to say? It's a person defending himself. Yeah. Just like if John has to do that to me and I pick up something and I beat him, maybe not with my hands, I've defended myself, but now I've killed him or immobilized him. Yeah. In that instance, I'm also not the wrong one. So I think this is a very tricky conversation. I don't want to say it's deep. We don't have to make everything deep. It's just needs a conversation where I'm able to disagree with you and you're able to question me without us offending one another. Yeah. But we will limit this conversation and we're doing the conversation an injustice. If we only limit it to women. We can't do that. It's unfair.
Yeah, and I think we need to start, I think with this play for me, we need to start, you know, sort of like finding balance. And I was saying to Tiro today, I was like, you know, it's almost like that James Ngcobo was so smart in bringing Oleanna after Four Colored Girls. Because Four Colored Girls covers woman abuse, like, punch up, you know? Yeah. And then this one is like, is it for us? Is it for guys? Yes. You know? Yes. And he was so strategic in my way of looking at it. He was just following the plays, you know? And talking about, you know, we don't want to really say men are more strong in terms of punches or how they're defending themselves and things like that. We just want to look at violence as violence, either or, yes. Right? Don't you think as well that women are also receptive of almost like what the professor words, they will throw in comments, they will throw in flattery stuff. And women, because we also see that we are strong and all of that, and we don't understand what is harassment, sexual harassment.
That says a lot about us. Why don't we understand what harassment is? But when it's done to us, suddenly I've got a clear understanding of the word. And even what you just said, I'm just like, why do I understand if it's being done to me, but I've got no clue when I'm doing it to someone else?
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
Who's innocent here?
Because I think for me is you find that you find that women at some point, because they've been marginalized for a long time. So this flattery. So I'm working with John, for example, in an office, and I'm his clerk or whatever, and he starts his flattery compliments or flattery comments, and because of power, I feel that if I say to him, no, I might not have a job tomorrow, So I think for me, it's that, is to harassment. Are we getting enough education about sexual harassment?
Okay, that's definitely an abuse of power then, it's clear. It's clear. The moment, even though that particular man, if he has not flirted, made whatever, by virtue of him being in the position that he is, and
I'm over this thing. It's not my desk anyway, it's the professor's desk. I think the professor is not happy with me. So just give me 1 second.
No problem.
I'm like, it keeps on slipping, and I'm like, bye-bye, let me hold it. Okay, I'm holding the mic. Thank you, Professor, for your desk. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's okay.
Sexual harassment.
And
abuse of power.
Yeah, so I think the play definitely does tackle the notes of sexual harassment, power, hierarchy, how power could be abused. In this instance, the man abusing his power as a professor, him, the power status, the status that he has to tower over me, to tell me I must listen, but also the fact that there are certain things that's only happening in my mind. And I'm projecting now, and I just think it's the constant push and pull between the age difference, the status difference, the clear power difference, how that power is abused, whether the power is in my hand or in his hands, and just the constant exchange. And again, how do you say when what is wrong? Because if you ask me in a professional setting, in a 9 to 5 in an office, if the CEO is asking you to come after work and massage him, it's wrong. It's an abuse of power. It's clearly that's wrong. So for me, that's so clear. We don't even need to discuss it, and there should be consequences to that actions. But if it's a genuinely nice guy, it's just like, hey, how you doing? I bought us lunch, and in your mind you're like, oh, he wants me. Oh my goodness. Maybe we should learn to have conversations. I think have the open conversations. Like, hey, do you like me? Oh no, I was just being nice. And he knows maybe to back off because you feel uncomfortable. But if the lines are blurred and conversations are not being had, or particular questions are not being asked, then we just never know. Because now you're offended, but you're offended alone. And this person doesn't even know that he or she has offended or has made you uncomfortable. So I don't know.
I think that's a powerful point that you just made as well. I used to work in the retail store, right? And I'm not this bubbly person, like so friendly. And you like interject the same with your team. Like, no, when the customer comes in, be friendly. And we're working for a French company. They took it like a step further, like, pull their trolley for them, go around with them, And I was like, the culture of the company is like that.
Yes.
Probably in France they don't have any problem. Yes. Pull each other's trolleys and whatever, I don't know, But I was seeing it and I was receiving it because you would meet up with a male customer and you're like, hi, how are you? And like take it back with your smile and how you like, no, let me, pull your trolley for you. Yes. Which size? No, let's get another size for you. I think that trouser life suits you and things like that, Looks good on you, try it with this top and whatever. No, so it was really, really
performance.
Like interactive, not like the other South African retail stores. You get there, you shop and you're like, okay, it's a top, I'll figure it out. There day, customer service was like, give them an action time.
Yes.
Recommend it. It was so deep.
Yeah.
And you'll find like some people, the following 2 days, 3 days,
Yeah.
they will come with their wives and they're like, I don't want you to help me. I'm like, ooh.
Okay.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, maybe I offended him. Because maybe he was thinking that I'm on to him.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like, dude, I was serving years like I said.
So who was wrong?
Oh my god, that's the question!
Answer.
I don't know!
In your mind, you were doing your job and he was a customer, so with that interaction, who's wrong? Do you think you were wrong?
I don't think so.
Was he wrong to be offended or feel uncomfortable?
I don't think so
You
too!
don't have the right to say so, because if he says, I feel uncomfortable, who are you to say it's wrong?
Oleanna. That's all I can
That's
tell.
why, yeah, this is a tricky conversation.
Yeah!
Yeah.
It is what is happening exactly.
Just do online shopping, yo. Okay. That's what I do. Just online
Online
Let's do that. Yes.
Talk to
Nobody. Yes.
But really, I think for myself, I took a lot of things from this show, and I'm like, maybe this is what. And you see, I'm talking about my retail time. Imagine how many guys I did it to, and how many ladies as well that I did it to. You know, and at some point I had short hair, bald, and apparently they were like, oh, this is
Stairs.
yeah, you know, I'm like, and I only received it from watching the show, and I'm honest, I was like, maybe me doing this was wrong. Maybe it was wrong. Maybe, you know? But only when you come and watch on the end, you will understand. Okay? And when can they catch it?
Oh, you guys.
Yeah.
Hello, guys. Oleanna is running. We start on the 4th of August, and we're running all the way to the 25th of August at the Joburg Theatre, the People's Theatre. And we are on every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think we've got 2 more weeks, including this one. 10 more shows, 11 including tonight's. So I would just encourage everyone to just come out and watch it. Interesting conversation. I think there's phenomenal acting. Not even trying to be biased, but Mothusi is amazing. I'm not even talking about myself. But just come and watch it, man. And also, it's theatre. Arts includes all media. Yeah. So it's not just TV. It's theatre, and I think you guys will enjoy us on screen. This is going to be on the screen. Yes, you guys will enjoy us on stage, but we run until the 25th of August. So please do get your tickets. If you book bulk or as a group, you get a discount. So hey, shout out to that. I love a discount. So please just come see us. Just come see us.
Guys, this has been educational. This has been lovely. This is what South Africans are for. And these are the tough conversations that women need to continue to have, not only amongst women, but also including guys. And that's what Oleanna has done for South Africa, for women in this woman's life, that we need to start speaking up. Those little things, those little issues that we've been wondering, or we have closed ourselves because we're not sure if we are ready or not. So many questions that today were left unanswered because we want you to answer it for yourself. You know, Altovise, you've been an amazing person. You know, never mind your craft. Your craft is idol gaga and your craft. You know, over the years you've been so strong. You know, consistency. I always like to say consistency is not frequency, but it's when you get an opportunity, you show up for it. And you have shown that you are not off this stage for 10 years. It's like you live here. You live theatre, and you've done Carol justice. Like you've blown my mind. Please do pass our regards to Mothusi. It is amazing.
I'll tell it.
And James as well, and the whole team that has been with you. We just like to say thank you for making this accessible to South Africa and South Africans, and to start a conversation that really wants. I'll also see you today. It's like, ooh, girl, you need to do some homework. Assignment.
Thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much. And guys, thank you for tuning in. I need you to come and watch this show. It's mind blowing, and you want to learn a few things, especially if you're a woman, and especially if you are a guy in South Africa, with everything that has happened or is happening with gender-based violence. And I like how Altovise is really stating that gender-based violence, we need to move away thinking that gender-based violence is women and children, but it's gender, any gender. And we need to start having this conversation. You know where to catch your girl on YouTube, W.O.C.E. on Instagram, woke_Riasia. And remember, your woke is with a C, okay? So I will see you when I